Alright, so I'm setting up here to start spraying this wall. You notice there's a lot of color change here, going from like a off-white to a brown. And when you do that, it's best to go and use a little bit smaller tip maybe and cross spray the area. If you notice, that's what I'm doing right here. And I switch from left hand to right hand because my shoulder's bad, so I work with both hands, and I can work flawlessly, change from right to left. It's something that takes years of practice, and I encourage all of you guys that are starting out to switch to your left hand if you're right-handed and give it a shot. So I've realized my pressure is just a little bit higher than I like it, so I'm going to readjust it. Junior set it up a little bit too low, and then I just reset it to where I wanted it. Just a little tiny bit of difference. Every little bit of difference makes a difference in your outcome of your job. So it's having your pressure just right is really important, and you should always be willing to stop and go change that as necessary. So I've got here this little bit of plant in the way, so I'm working around one side, going back to the other side, working around it. Trying to stay, if you look at when I'm spraying, my spray gun my wrist does not break. My wrist will maintain keeping the spray gun right straight at the wall. I never spray off at an angle, because all those things cause more problems. You get more overspray, you get more misses that way. So if you keep your gun shooting straight at the wall all the time, then what happens is you have less misses, less overspray, much cleaner job. And it takes practice. Again, you can't just hop in your spray gun and start doing this overnight. I'm going to get around the corner here, and I'm going to grab a shield, and I'm going to start shielding the base around the bottom. And you'll notice that I'll spray that two different directions again, because what tends to happen when you're spraying the bottom of the wall is you get kind of lazy and you reach downward, and then when you stand back you can see those underneath shadows of the old color. So when you want to make sure that your spray gun almost touches the ground with it cross spraying, and spray upward a little bit to make sure you get those angles. And also, when I'm doing this part here, you notice that my hand, when I get down low, what I'll do is I'll actually turn the spray gun upside down, and that saves your back and keeps your spray gun shooting straight at the wall at the same time. So what I'll do is I'll kind of make a loop. I'll come down and I'll swoop down upside down, and I'll spray down at the bottom of the wall. That way I keep my gun from wanting to spray downward, because if you just kneel down, what happens is you're always wanting to spray downward. You're going to miss those shadows. You're going to have shadows underneath the stucco on the bottom, and when you stand back 10-20 feet, you can see those, and it doesn't look good. I see them a lot of times on houses. I watch guys, and I look at guys across the street, and I can see the shadows, and I just go, wow, I can't believe they're getting away with that. And sometimes they don't. Customers complain. So you always want to make sure you spray those upward angles from on the lower portion of the wall. And if you notice here, and I'm resetting again, if you notice again, when I'm spraying the wall, might be a little bit of inconsistencies in the material, and that will change the pressure a little bit. If you notice, I never blow off of any corners, so when I get to the edge, I'll actually blow right up to the very edge, but I will not let the fan right here. I did not let the fan blow off the edge, because anytime you blow off a corner, you're going to have overspray, and you're going to have something's getting wiped out. So because especially if there's a little bit of wind, catches that, pulls it around, puts it on something it's not supposed to be on, that's a no-no. So around these windows here, it gets a little bit more tricky. I'm actually, I'm talking to the guys right now about a second here, about caulking the door jamb into the wall. I want to make sure that gets done, and that's what I was doing right there. And I'm working around the building on this wall here. You'll notice I'll spray right up next to this little gate wall, and the gate wall, I won't hit it. I'll use a piece of cardboard shield, then I'll come back with a brush and touch it up. A lot of guys will take the time to go out, get their masking machine, mask that all off, when I can actually shield it and brush it faster than they can mask it. And usually, sometimes you still get a blowout with your masking. Not usually, but sometimes you do. And you just can't control that. You know, that sometimes the masking falls off or whatever. Guys go, oh no, mine never falls off. Oh, bullshit. I've been doing this 35 years. I've seen tons of guys that tell me that their stuff doesn't blow off, and it still does. Your paper blows off from time to time, or your masking doesn't hold. You know, well, you gotta be a good masker. Yeah, I've heard all that stuff, and I've seen it over and over where it does fail. So, but if you're standing there looking at it with a shield in your hand, you know if it's failing, and you have a wet rag in your back pocket, you can wipe it right off right away, versus having the customer see it when you go to unmask. Sometimes it's actually better to use that shield. On the jobs I used to work on, that's all I got was a shield. Even for windows and everything, I got a shield and I got about 5 shields, and I better not get them all thick painted. You notice I wipe them off on the walls. But if I didn't get them too thick painted, then I'd be like, yeah, I need a new shield. And the kind of boss would look at me like, what? You didn't wipe it on the wall? Clean it off, make sure it was dry, put it in the sun? Well, nah, you better manage your shields, keep them in the sun, drying out while you're doing other stuff. You guys are in Florida and stuff like that, you're going to have a completely different set of rules because it's so freaking moist there. It's a different game. Some places back east and stuff like that, you're probably going to need more shields than that, and you're going to need to work your system a little bit different, but you can incorporate a lot of this stuff into what you're doing. So this is not sped up. This video is all real time. This is how I spray. This is the speed I'm going. This is the way I usually do it. Yeah, it's fast, and this is actually really slow to me because I'll use as much as a 619 on a house like this. If I have my larger spray rig, I'd be using a 619 to do this, and it would be no different, but I'd be just done a lot faster. But today, with the materials prices, I switched to using a little smaller tip because it saves me a couple gallons, and that can be about $50 now on a job. So that adds up very quickly. I mean, that pays half your day for one of your your helpers if you have a helper. Honestly, helpers don't make me any money. They actually cost me money. I usually am able to get back what I spent on a helper if I give them, say, $100 a day or something like that, or whatever. I'm just using that as a number. If you give them $100 a day as a helper, basically you get $100 back. If you charged, say, $300 per man day or something, $400 per man day, he's only going to make back what you charge, like $100. If you charge $100, he's going to get you back $100. That's the most you'll ever get from a helper. Most helpers don't make you money. Painters make you money if you have one that's really good, and even at that, it's really hard to get ones that are good enough to actually make you money. So you guys that think you're badass painters and you're working for some boss and you're getting your boss rich, guess what? You're not getting your boss rich. You're a donkey. You're there, and most of the time, your boss is getting rich based on what he's been doing or the sheer volume of the work. You might be making him $10 an hour based on what, if he's paying you $15, you might be making $5 or $10, and that's it. So you're not getting your boss rich. Don't keep thinking that, that's stupid. So anyway, just thought I'd get that out there in this little video. But in the spraying, you notice I don't break off corners. I everything's got I'm angling my gun to shoot at a certain area, and I'm, keeping it from touching, hitting stuff. Constantly watching where the overspray is going. Every time I pull that trigger, I know right where the paint's going. If you're not conscientious of that stuff, then what happens is, you don't know where it's going, and you might actually wipe something out, and then you're going to have an insurance claim, and that one insurance claim is going to cost you more than, probably you're going to make on the job. And, I don't like to lose money. I don't think anybody else does. I've never had an insurance claim ever, because I'm constantly watching where that paint's going. When you have everything covered up, sometimes you tend to be lazy. You don't think about where your paint's going. But when you're not covering stuff, you're constantly watching where that paint's going. Oh, is there anything lying on the bushes? Oh, I better make sure it's not going to get on them. Like I'm painting over this bush here, there's absolutely no paint on that bush, and it's right next to the wall. So, if I can do that, then anybody else can do that. And yeah, you can get up really, really close. You can get within an inch of that, and you will not see any paint on that bush. Nothing. So when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Nothing at all. So, I'm just telling you, I work for the same people you guys work for. They're not, it's not some, I'm lucky type of thing. I work for some of the pickiest people ever, and I never have problems with them. In fact, they usually watch me for about an hour, and they come over and they look at the bush or something, and they go, "Oh my God, you don't even have to cover that?" I go, "No." And they just walk away, go in the house, and leave me alone. I don't never get another thing from them after that. They're just like, "Oh, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm just going to leave him alone, let him do his job, and it's over." So if you think they're not going to, if you think, as long as you know your game and you're not hitting the, your overspray's not landing on stuff, and you know where it's going all the time, you think, "Oh, well, I'll never get away with that." Yes, you will. You will. In fact, they will actually think you are even better at your job, because you don't have to do all that covering, and you don't get any paint on anything. They're going to come over and they're going to look. They're going to look and say, "Check it out. That bush, there's nothing." They'll go, "Oh, wow." I had one lady, she had rose bushes near her house. She says, "I don't want you to cover them. Can you paint the wall without touching my rose bushes? Because I don't want the foliage broken on those. Because I know when you cover them up, you're going to break the foliage." And I said, "Well, there's a couple of them that I'm going to have to just cover, but the rest of them, no, I won't." And she goes, "You won't get any paint on them?" I said, "No." So when I was all done with the job, she was so happy. See, that's a job a lot of you guys that cover everything couldn't even do. And I did it, and I made damn good money. I charged her for that. I said, no problem, I can do it. But, I charge a little more. "Oh, no, that's fine. I don't care. I just don't want any paint on my rose bushes, and I want to make sure that there's no broken foliage, because I want to make sure my roses are blooming next month." So you just have to do what you have to do. You make sure you don't get paint on stuff. So if you look here at the brick, and when I shoot towards the brick, you notice I will actually angle away from it, so that my overspray even won't. I'm like 4 inches away. There it is. I sprayed down. I angled away from it. Now what I'll do is I'll take a cardboard shield and I'll shoot the other angle. Okay, so both angles get shot. I'll take a cardboard shield, lay it up against the brick. I'll shoot the other angle, and then it's all done. Same thing when I go around the wall. I shoot the same way. I shoot it one angle going one way, going away from the wall, and then the angle going towards the wall with the shield on it. And then I'll come back with the brush and catch any shadow. It's done. There's no misses. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. We're about to ready to wrap this one up here. Watch the rest of it. Check it out. You might learn some new stuff. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let's see you making some money painting.